So this is my colleague Arturo Noriega. Arturo is our student advisor and at-risk intervention supervisor. Arturo's been here for much longer than I have. I'm new this year, and so I thought that it might be nice for him to sort of walk around and talk about some of the facilities things that I don't yet have deep knowledge of. Obviously, the sort of glaring needs and the great areas I certainly know, but Arturo has more nuanced knowledge. So, Therese, I don't know how you guys did this over at Graham. Did Kim
Yeah,
just
I'll
sort of
give you,
talk?
let me give you, so let me just kind of give everybody a little flavor. So we here, given that we have a little bit of a smaller group and given that the people that know the most history of this school are probably these two, my inclination would be to try and have us all go together. Tour around the site. We did it separately at the other school, but I just think given the circumstance it'd be helpful because people ask questions as we go. And what we did that I'd like to do here is that the purpose of the tour, because we have some new people that have joined us here, is that we're showing the existing site so that people can see what we have in the facilities improvement plan, but also see what is here and what we know from the various people here, what their concerns are, so that when we start moving forward, the committee and the public have a clear picture in their mind, at least when we're bringing issues up. And secondly, that when we come and ask to do certain things, we want you to be able to see what we're talking about and have some context to that. So that's our goal. We really just want to kind of tour the key sites, and along the way, if the two of you guys, Arturo and Jim, can highlight where people have raised issues or where things have changed a lot over the past, since we did the last remodel here, what kind of issues or concerns. And what I've been doing is I've been kind of highlighting what things have been proposed to be done here. It is not the definitive list, it's just a matter of we're having a starting point so that we can start the conversation. So with that, I think if we just kind of tour.
Great. Do you guys
in a
have
circle.
maps of the school?
Yes.
You do have maps. Okay. So
Not deep, we've got
do you
this
want me to
map.
talk about the multi, what we do in the multi, or do you want to just talk, like get straight to the challenges? Or I mean,
I think in all of the rooms, because this is an area that we're talking about
Yeah.
putting some work
Expanding,
into
yep.
because it's not large enough. So in
Right.
that context, talk about
right.
the areas.
Okay. So the multi is, as Grace said, not currently large enough to hold our entire student body. In its use as the cafeteria, we've had to split the student body into 6th grade and then 7th and 8th grade. And even with the 7th and 8th grade, so they take turns eating at lunch. And even when the 7th and 8th graders eat, you can't fit them all in here. So half of them have to eat outside. So we almost always have to use outside space. And luckily there hasn't been like a torrential downpour yet, like, knock on wood, during lunch hour. It's been raining, but somehow it's just always been cleared up enough for them to eat outside. So we've been very lucky because of the weather. But the short story is that we would like a space that could be, that we can fill with all of our students. And in its use as an auditorium that comes into play as well. Not just in, let's say you wanted to do a whole school assembly. You couldn't do that in this space. Or even when you want to do it by grade level, we had our grade level awards ceremonies in December in here, and even then, just one grade was tight. And its capacity as an auditorium for our performances, it's packed. Both when we use it and when Therakoff borrows it, like their parents come and there's the distance thing, there's the new, coming to a different location, and still, when we factor all those things in, they pack the auditorium and it's still full. So it's not big enough. It's a bit of an issue. Arturo, do you want to talk a little bit about it?
You really touched on all the points. The fact is that we've used the area as much as we can to either deliver information or performances, and it's just not large enough. The student body increases in size. I know that I've been here for 7 years, and we've gone from just under 600, we're over 600 now, and we continue to grow. And as that growth comes, we're definitely going to need the space.
Right.
And the only thing to highlight is that at Graham, because we are looking to try and have equivalent spaces at both campuses. And one of the issues at Graham is that their students, although they do have a covered eating area, most of their students eat all over the place. And I think that at this campus, you actually have more structure around the meals,
Well,
which is,
yeah. I have not seen lunchtime at Graham, so I can defer to somebody who has, but I know that lunchtime here, we do limit them, they're eating to either here or the outside tables, and if they're allowed to by their teacher, by a teacher's invitation, in the classrooms. So we you know, and the kids are always very cooperative of it. No one's ever given us a problem around like not eating, for example, like in the outside hallways or underneath the awnings over there.
so the question that got raised, why I'm bringing it up,
Yeah.
is there was a question of, are the kids able to make it through the lines, and as you grow, do you have enough capacity? And here, that's never been raised, but at Graham, that has been raised, of whether or not time-wise, the way that they have it go through, is it set up? So there is there's some real value to having
Yeah.
the structured space
I
around.
think that our staff have been very good, and even before I came along, we figured out lunch
Yeah.
so that it's tight, but the kids all get fed with enough time to eat. I think the only time we ever had a problem was the first day of school, when I was like, I don't know what I'm doing here. But we, like ever since the second day of school, every kid has been fed, and we rarely have those kinds of problems with it, but it's not without, it's sort of, we always have to constantly be thinking on our feet. It's not a comfortable, like stress-free lunch in terms of managing the line, but we've been doing a good job of it. It would be nice to sort of not have to worry about it as much. We know for a fact that there's large enough spaces for kids to eat.
So can we take them through the kitchen? I'd like to show here.
Sure.
The prep kitchen.
Sure, no problem.
One of our district objectives is to have covered space for all the students. Not every site has an MUR, so at some sites we're going to do more of a covered shade kind of structure, but here a big goal of ours is to have a big enough space for all the students if possible.
Make sure it's good angle.
Thank you.
I don't know if
You want to
has
go in
a
here,
picture.
Joyce?
Well, I just wanted to show people, this is our primary prep kitchen, and the reason why I'm showing this is because it is about the same size as the kitchen at Graham. So they do want just a little bit of need a little bit of modernization in here, because we serve the whole district from this kitchen.
Graham has a kitchen this size.
Yeah, Graham serves their own kids. This is our primary prep kitchen, and I think that
But they have 800 students and we have 600.
but
We do have a larger.
this is where our people are staffed, is why we prep out of here.
This kitchen also feeds all the elementary schools.
Yeah,
Yes.
so that's all, I just wanted people to have an idea of the comparison. And storage and everything is really good.
And we're short of freezer.
You want to, can we walk by the music rooms as well?
Yeah, that's what, if we can go in a circle, that'd be
You want to
good.
go around that?
I don't know if that's important. I usually find this one.
Can someone get the door to the kitchen? The
Sure.
light?
Door to kitchen and light.
Thank you.
Yeah, you can do it.
Sure.
No, we don't need anything else. We're all set.
The other thing to be aware of, this is our main transportation yard, and we have bit of warehousing here.
Yes.
And our transportation office, and we definitely, one of our goals is to have, a redo of this area and have it be more functional and space efficient.
The original 1954 building is here.
Music is this one.
Oh,
Let's go this way.
The delivery truck comes in and back up and then there's 16 pallets. It's all the way around the corner. I was here last Wednesday and I saw that. I was like, wow.
That's the, those used to be the old shops.
okay, I thought they were moving
It's like a lounge or something over there now, huh?
It's definitely not a lounge.
That's the secondary staff lounge?
We don't have a secondary staff
Oh.
lounge. That's our art room. And 703 used to be our home study, our home schooling. It's been moved, and that space is utilized by large classrooms now.
What's homeschooling?
If parents decide that they're not coming to school, that they're going to school them at home, we actually on site have the homeschool here, where they have parents have to check in and get curriculum.
I never heard of that.
Yeah.
I thought homeschooling happened at home,
Yeah, it's at home, but
but it happens here at school.
well, they definitely have to come in, and I'm not sure exactly how it works, but
Huh.
they definitely come in and
Okay.
have to speak with the
Ah,
get the curriculum and things that they need to
interesting.
be taught.
Ah, cool.
So I wanted to bring you guys through to this music. This is one half of the music building. We're going to pass through. This is the chorus room. We're going to pass through into the orchestra and sorry, the band room. Orchestra also performs here. So just wanted to point out that I mean, size-wise, it's on the smaller side, and the building itself is getting a little bit dated. We had some. Hey, how you doing, man? This is the Citizens Oversight Committee. Everybody, this is Leanne Rapella, one of our music teachers.
Great.
We're just bringing them through because we're figuring out, we're in the process of planning for architectural upgrades over the next few years. So
Oh, good.
talking to them about the size. It would be nice to have a larger building. Nice to have to upgrade the facilities. We also had a mold issue this year, right, with the leaking and some of the faucet. Can you maybe talk a little bit about that?
Well, it was a vandalism issue. They plugged up the sink and let the sink run over a whole night.
Oh, God.
We had quite a little leak in here, so. It did wick up in the walls and the sheetrock, so we had to cut out 18 inches of all the sheetrock, replace the sheetrock, put in dehumidifiers.
Yeah, band and
Couple
orchestra.
weeks put together.
Yeah, they were in the multi-purpose room for like 2.5, 3 weeks while this was happening. While you know, I don't know if it was somebody who left the faucet on, or whether we don't know if it was vandalization or not. But there's certainly room for improvement in this building. Is what I'm saying.
I've been told that the pipes might have branches in them or something like that, there was mud, and I don't know.
So
Old.
I mean, it's functional. It's not like kids are in a hazardous situation or anything, but certainly we could use some improvements.
What
Leanne, do you want?
percentage of the kids are in either chorus or are in music?
You know, I can take a stab at that, but do you know the numbers approximately?
That's about 1/3 of the school.
Yeah.
So around 180, 200 kids.
About a third. And growing.
And how about storage?
Very small. There's a storage room,
We'll
and it's not big enough. It's kind of scary.
All right, let's go through. And Leanne, feel free to just
So what,
talk about it.
one of the things that we shared at the other site is that a lot of these have had, all the sites have had renovations done already, over the past 15 years. So basically, certain things have already been brought up to standard, and some of our goals in this go-around is trying to address the long-term usage. So if we're growing as a district, and storage and the kinds of programming that we're offering has changed, we want to make sure that we're addressing that as part of our standard upgrades. That's a priority for us.
As far as storage in this room, a lot of our stuff is being shoved in the multi on the back of the stage because we have no room in here. We've got boxes now we've got a musical theater program that just started a few years ago. And we have to store all the stuff from that, costumes and things like that. So there's no room in here for these boxes. So we've been storing them in the multi-purpose room. And stuff gets stored on top of cabinets and things like that because there's no more room anywhere.
right here with advanced band. So can you talk a little bit about any improvements that you feel?
Well, our first biggest issue is if you open this door here, sorry, I didn't bring my key in with me. This is our storage room, and our band program's getting larger and larger. I think this is my biggest concern right now, is that, the storage room is this size, and we've got instruments up in these, shelves, and there were an earthquake, and somebody was in here, yikes.
Also, can you fit all the instruments in here?
Not, I mean, we can't even walk through here.
When, over the summertime, when they check them all back in, there's not enough storage.
We've got a lot of large instruments that we're storing back here, and it's hard for the kids to get in and out. I mean, it's possible, but it's
Anecdotally,
kind of tight.
yeah, when I'm helping after the performances, it's always a little bit scary because you have a lot of kids, and our kids are great, but, you know, the worrying part of me is always concerned about just the size of the room, and the fact that there's only one entrance and exit to this room, right?
There's only one entrance and exit, and if we do ever get another storage room, we need to have the cages that keep the instruments from falling out in an earthquake. So something that's gonna keep them from sliding off the upper shelf.
Any comments on the acoustic nature of the room? You happy with that?
It's okay.
Okay. All right.
That's strictly voice and this is instrument.
Yeah, yeah, and we like the tile floor, because, for one thing, it does let the sound bounce off of it, and the other reason is if we have, horn players that are emptying spit valves, we don't want that on the carpet. That's a lot of carpet cleaning, and when you have a tile floor, you can just wipe it up.
So when we were at Graham, there was a band room and a strings room, but I didn't see a chorus room. Does that mean that you have different programs than Graham had?
We did.
Oh, we saw a
The
chorus room
kids were
too.
in the theater.
Oh, that was the chorus room.
practiced. It was, yeah, and it was leveled like that.
Oh,
where-
okay.
And Graham, we love Graham's band room because they have practice rooms, which is nice. They've got these practice rooms off to the side where the kids can go, and they're soundproof.
Mm.
If we need to send a couple kids to work on something or they need to practice, we don't have any soundproof rooms. This little room off to the side where that sink is not soundproof. You can hear them right through that.
So what do you do
That
instead?
would be our dream.
So you
Sometimes we send them
right?
outside. They go out in the freezing cold and, yeah.
And they're good sports about it, but
Yeah,
it would
they are.
be nice not to have to send students outside to the cold practice.
Yeah, it'd be nice to have some practice rooms with some glass doors so we can watch them, but are still soundproof. I know Wanger is a company that makes those kinds of practice rooms. They design those practice rooms.
Like a drop in, they make them and then you
Yeah.
set them up here.
Mhm.
All right. Anybody have any questions? Comments? Okay.
They're absorbing.
They're absorbing a lot, yeah, okay.
Can I mention one more thing? The windows are nice up like this. I was thinking about this. I love the windows up high like that because people can't see into the band room. It'd be nice to also have doors that people can't see through, because we don't want people seeing instruments in here.
Oh, because they'd be stolen. You mean just the threat of theft?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
It's nice to have that because they can't really peek in unless they're on the roof.
Is stuff getting stolen from rooms that you can see into?
Not that I know of,
No,
but there's
okay.
always that. There's always that fear.
Hmm.
Yeah, so our district standard is to have windows in all the doors for. so-
Other types of security reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So,
Wonder if they could tint
Just
them
a
or
thought.
something, maybe. Just a thought.
Thank you, Leanne.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Will the last person grab the lights, please?
sure. I want to show them a sample of that structure.
Well, if you look at these, they're remodeled.
And the need for additional classroom space, when we're in the classroom, are all the, as we're walking, we can just kind of describe what the names are, we don't have to go into all of them.
Okay. So, on Crittenden, at Crittenden, we have, so like 6 main academic buildings. This is the 100 wing, and it's attached to the office, which we'll go through at the end if you guys are curious. I think the office was the last thing that was upgraded. So that was upgraded, I think, in 2000.
Yeah, and that's in good condition.
It's in good-
There's
it's in
not
pretty good
anything
condition.
major
I
that
have
we're
no
looking
complaints
at
about
there,
it.
just some,
So we're gonna go ahead and take a look
Sprucing it.
at our library and then some adjacent classrooms.
and one thing I want to highlight to people is that the city trail, something that we need to pay attention to. The city trail has been built. I don't know if you can see it all the way down, but it's coming all the way down. They already have pretty significant plans, and they're going to build it all the way through to Middlefield.
Which trail are you talking
It's
about?
I think it's called the Shoreline Trail.
There's
but
a creek on the perimeter right there?
It's not the Stevens Creek.
No, but.
Permanente
No,
Creek.
yeah.
Permanente Creek.
Yeah.
Okay, it's going to extend all the way to here.
And so they've already got that in the works, and they're definitely open to working with us, but it's something that we just are keeping in mind as we do our facilities planning, et cetera.
Where's the PG&E pipe?
I'll show you when
Okay.
we get out there.
Where
But
was it or where is it?
I'll show you.
Oh, it moved already, huh?
I think they moved it. Just moved it last summer. Hope they did, 'cause Middlefield is close to something.
Right.
Oh, that one they pressurized and tested. Yeah, right.
This area had a little rough out there, and that parking area will work. They were using it for a stage play.
Not yet.
So this was set up, Jim was telling us, this was set up to be kind of an outdoor auditorium type of area, and it hasn't really ever been.
Well, that's not all completely
Okay.
true, because Mr. Noriega has actually DJ'd right in the center
Yes,
of
I
that.
have.
hall.
Okay.
Had a dance here. But, go ahead.
The 2 little shade structures were added a few years ago to try to get the picnic area some extra shade for the overflow of the multi-use there.
Right. So we just extend the multi, maybe about
Oh.
100 feet. That way. Yeah. Okay. All right, this is our library.
Definitely no wood outside. We had, we put all these.
They did some, I would say they did a lot of improvements at the school. 10 years ago. So,
They were looking at these.
Yeah, Jim was pointing out to me that we don't have rain gutters, and that when it rains, it just sort of pours over the side rather than into a gutter and out a specific pipe.
As long as it goes towards the creek.
Okay, so this is our library. I think it was renovated in 2000.
oh, wait, how
No,
long
was this
ago?
room renovated in 2000?
I was saying about 10 years ago.
Not 10 years ago, 2002.
Right around that era,
Okay.
maybe just a tad early.
So this is obviously the main room. There's an office that we use for our chat counselors. The librarian's desk is here, and then book storage in the back. I think I remember her saying there's not. She feels it would be nice to have more shelves back here. But then again, I think that was at the beginning of the year. She's since cleaned it up, so she's made. You'll notice. I mean, this is probably what you notice at most schools, which is teachers and educators just make the most of what they're given. So. Yeah, we still have, we've definitely been used more storage shelving out here. Especially during the summer, because right now, if you come in and you see, you'll notice.
When you get into.
Right, no, but this is with all books checked out.
Oh, but is this all the library
Aluminum channel.
books, or is this textbooks?
These are mostly textbooks,
Okay.
okay? But if you imagine all the kids that when they turn in their textbooks at the end of the year, it gets pretty full in there.
Like storage.
Storage seems to be it's always a big.
Overall, book shelving out here is real short too. It looks large, but if you add it up, there's not much lineal footage.
But they don't use the bottom shelf.
Yeah,
Okay.
there's a story with that. I think it's a librarian that doesn't like to come down.
Oh.
How long can you use books for? They're not consumable at this level like they are for
Oh.
elementary.
Oh, you
how
mean
long
the
we check them out?
That's what I mean. That's what I was
text-
talking about, yeah. How many years does a textbook
textbook
last
lasts?
for middle
It's
school?
the curriculum
They
issue.
change it that much?
The books.
We haven't in a while,
That's the thing.
but
Unfortunately, sometimes it's like a pendulum swinging. And
Okay.
then curriculum, it doesn't change that often. Like, I would say once every 6 to 10 years.
but
That's
we
how often
are-
a new
we
edition of the
are
book comes
in
out,
a-
or?
We are in a major change in terms of materials
Right.
is expected
Right.
over the next few years
Hmm.
because they're changing
From
to
one-
a common core
Oh, I see.
curriculum.
So
Okay.
there will be an influx
Probably.
of books, and then there's going to be times to sort out. In terms of actual changes, I think that would be the biggest thing.
Yeah.
In terms of volume, I'm not sure how much. It's hard for me to say exactly sort of how much effect that would have. But there's another thing to point out that kind of goes against storage, which is we want to move the school towards a more digital based.
Mm.
So buying more textbooks is still kind of like one foot in the other door. So that's something that's being weighed right now.
So the issue that this raises,
Does.
we saw this at
Creates new
Graham
problems.
where they had
Right.
the classroom that was for home economics, basically. And there's a concern, not that kids don't wanna take that class, but whether or not we will be able to get a teacher for that kind of class. So part of our goal is to have rooms and storage and everything that as things change, we don't have to redo the whole thing. If we can set it up so that it has
Mhm.
kind of the future purpose in mind, that's part of our objective. Or that it's easy to change, it's either easy to redo it without construction. That would be our goal.
Arturo, any thoughts on library or anything you've seen so far?
No, you're covering everything very well. I'm not shy, though. I will definitely jump in if I have something, but
See?
You're just trying to keep your job. He's your boss, right?
yes.
Yeah, you're not going to contradict him.
Infrastructure technology.
You went here?
I went to Graham.
Went to Graham. So what's it like being on the other guy's campus?
Oh, it's-
Crosstown rivals. You're like a mole.
This is
Yeah.
great.
Okay.
So there are some kids in the. Hey. Good. How are you?
Sorry.
No problem.
We're just gonna
Not
peek,
interrupt.
we're gonna peek at Beyond the Bell, which is our city and district combined after-school program is going on in there. But I wanna take you guys through our computer lab. On the one hand, you'll see a lot of computers. On the other hand, if you notice that the computers in there are getting a little bit dated as well. We have 2 labs, which is, yeah, exactly. If you'll notice that we have a lot of need new computers, we will also need to make sure that
No, you
the
can lock that up,
network
Bobby.
is
We're
strong
good.
enough to, and the bandwidth is wide enough to
Yeah,
support,
they just,
I mean,
let's walk
ideally, one
across the
laptop
page.
for every single kid.
So
So
we're good.
that's
Go ahead and button
really,
it up.
from the facilities perspective,
Ah,
our
it's in wrong.
objective is to have enough infrastructure so that we could support that over a long period of time. That's the facilities objective. It's not to get every single
Buy the
laptop.
laptops.
Right.
Yeah, because
What's a laptop?
tablet is.
Back, they used to have, yeah, these things. People used to have laps.
What's a lap?
Are those textbooks okay for us to take too? There's a giveaway box, table there.
Sure, if you want it.
I have kids.
So, one thing that.
Some of them
we
looked
shared
interesting.
That's nice here, that a lot of teachers typically like, you'll notice in the classrooms, is their whiteboards are built and they stand out from the wall a little bit, and they have storage behind them. So
Oh,
that's
storage is
really-
behind them.
Yeah.
I thought it was just multiple layers of whiteboard.
They do
There's
have
like a
some of
closet
those
back
that
there.
have that, but
Okay.
it also has a little bit.
Did we
of
lose
storage
half
back
of our
there.
group?
I was trying to make sure that Jim was staying with us.
There's an interesting textbook on that table. Do you see it?
No.
Oh, they had a giveaway,
I saw few.
a
I
textbook
saw the
giveaway table.
Yeah, I saw that. Where are we? I can't tell where we
Oh,
are.
the front's right there.
Oh, the office. Okay, got
Yeah,
it.
there's the front of the school over there.
Got it. And that's the two
Ah,
schools.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what that's all about.
We still
Well,
do
that's the
use
newest
the
one.
computer
I already
labs,
used it upstairs.
but what we've been going towards is a tablet cart kind of, philosophy instead of a computer lab. Because, they can take, the teachers can take it into their classroom, or multiple teachers can do it at the same time, and you don't have to put them all into a different space. So we haven't, none of our schools are saying get rid of their computer labs, but I'm just saying down the road, that bringing them into being able to bring the computers into the classroom is.
Would that work for you guys?
The old model is bring the kids to the computer lab.
No.
That's not where we want to head. We don't
Yeah.
want to build more computer labs. We want to have infrastructure to have the ability to let kids use computers in their
Yes.
classrooms. I could show them a couple classrooms.
Yeah, we just want to show you a
Okay,
sample.
Let me
of
show you
what
a sample
regular
couple of
classroom
sample classrooms. These are 2 English classrooms. Come on in.
I hope not. It's dark in here. Oh, that's a good book. There's some good books over here.
They have the desks. They have rocking desks.
Oh, these will rock back, huh? Okay.
Yeah.
So Therese mentioned the sliding whiteboards. Here are some right over here. Which the teachers really enjoy because
Because there's a closet. Yep.
And these classrooms at this campus tend to have fewer whiteboards. I'm guessing is possibly why they put this in, because you can get more whiteboard in the same amount of space. I don't know one way or the other, but the classrooms here,
Yeah.
and I don't know if this is the oldest wing or not, but they typically have a similar kind
Yeah.
of setup.
Jim, do you know if the relative age of this wing versus the other?
This one's slightly newer. I don't know
Okay.
the specific, this building was added to the school.
Oh, it was. Okay.
Are we in the 200 wing?
We are in the
400.
400s now, okay.
So, just something that, before I came to Mountain View, I actually worked in New York City, and so when we talk about space, it's kind of weird for me to talk about space because I'm going from New York to here, it's like, wow, there's a ton of space. But if you take a look, when all of these chairs are filled up, it gets pretty full in here. And there's not a lot of but the teacher has to be very creative in how she groups kids, if she wants them to do group projects, or she wants them to change the seating setup. It's really pretty limited by both the length and the width of the room, and as well as the size of the desk. So what I'm trying to say is it'd be great. This is actually one of the larger rooms, but it would be great to see at least this size room in any classroom building that goes up in the future.
Or a very creative space
Right.
utilization
Right.
inside, including the furniture, so that they can have that,
Like
because,
movable walls.
the having enough classroom space, even if we add classrooms here, is always going to be of concern. So how do we maximize the space? Because I think for the middle schools, I don't know if I have this correct off the top of my head, but our standard is that they should be able to fit 35 kids in every classroom. So,
And most of them can. All of them can, I guess. And you can put 35 kids in them, but
can
it
they
gets
do
very
what
tight.
they need to and want to?
And then on the flip side, when you have smaller classes, for example, our support classes are smaller, you may have 15 kids in this space. And then it just may happen that because of the schedule, the teacher next door has 35 kids that period. So I mentioned something about I know that there's been a movement towards building buildings that have movable walls and have different, I don't know the building terms, but it's like Tetris pieces, like you can move them around. It would be amazing to imagine if certain periods, the walls slide this way for smaller classes, so the other classes have room, for example, and vice versa. So, a lot of creative ways to figure out how to maximize space. So I'll take you through the best, in my opinion, the best constructed classroom spaces in our building, in our school are the ones that have attached offices and have shared space between these two teachers. It really facilitates cooperation and collaboration. I was all still a great school. I don't know if it was back then. It's a great school.
Somebody else
That's a
mentioned, I just want to highlight.
Yeah.
Somebody else mentioned in some places they have a different kind of desk that makes it harder. So is this our standard?
This
That
school
we're
likes
buying
the
now?
sled desk where you
It
can
goes by
enter
school.
both sides.
Okay.
Graham has a single entry.
Okay.
But they said they wanted sleds.
But when we buy new desks, is it up to the site to pick, or what's our standard?
We actually have both.
Okay, all right.
It varies per principal.
Yes, please.
One
year
better
out.
for carpet, the other ones are better for hard floors.
We'll go through here. Anything to add, Arturo?
I agree that these classrooms do get filled, and it's difficult to,
The only other thing I'm gonna highlight is that, you'll see, I don't know this school, every classroom, but you'll see in a lot of our classrooms, we used to have every classroom with a TV and a VCR, and that it varies now by classroom, and that is not necessarily
Yeah.
our standard.
our classrooms definitely still
Big
have,
fat
they're
things.
behind the whiteboards, and it occupies a lot of space because we're not utilizing those.
Okay, so,
Because we use it for our morning announcements are actually transmitted through the entire school on a daily basis.
so it really depends on, but that's part of our standards, that we have to be really clear on how we're gonna do it.
One safety concern that teachers have brought up repeatedly, especially after the Sandy Hook massacre, was the fact that our doors don't lock on the inside. So in order to lock them, you need to poke your head out and put your key in. So that was that's one area in which I understand the district is already knows about and is going to be working on putting in
Double keys.
double key doors. So in the meantime, people have been talking about using PVC pipe and maybe having like a PVC pipe here and then putting it up there. I don't even, when the door's closed, so it can't open from the outside if you want to quote unquote lock it from the inside. So the PVC pipe.
Oh, yeah, clever. That's clever.
But you know, we want to avoid trying to do that kind of rigging if possible. All right. So this is our 200 building, and it's one of our newer buildings. I believe the renovation. This is part of the Jim. Was this part of the renovation 10 years ago?
This is a new building, this
Right.
was built,
98, I think.
15 years ago,
1998.
right?
50, yeah.
And I've heard a lot of things about the second floor, but from Kim and from Craig, and just as far as I know, the second floor is not currently usable as classroom space because the sound insulation is not present or it was installed incorrectly.
You can hear every footstep.
Yeah, between the first and the second floor. So the first floor of this wing are all the science classrooms. And the second floor is presently utilized for after-school clubs and smaller meetings, maybe some counseling sessions, but you can't have 30 kids up there in classrooms because of the noise.
Because the effect it'd have on the first floor classrooms.
That's right.
So that's part of our facilities plan, is to address
An acoustical
the acoustical issue.
But let's go up there and then maybe we can yell yet echo.
I'll stay on the first floor, and you guys jump up and down.
side effect of this little quirk is that there are plenty of funny stories or interesting stories that kids make up about the second floor.
Oh, it's spooky. It's like a haunted house. Okay.
It is definitely haunted. There was some issues with things getting thrown over, which is why in the addition,
Oh, that just got welded on, huh?
kids have said that.
So we're maybe 10 people, and 3 of us are talking. You can already hear how loud it is.
During our school dances in the evening time, you can see the spirits walking by the windows.
It looks nice up here. This looks modern. Yeah.
So Jack uses this room for counseling sessions. It is a nice sort of place away from the hustle and bustle, but it'd be awfully nice if we could have a classroom in here. I wonder what a fushi is.
I do not know.
Farting. Oh.
Yeah. Do not do that.
Hey, you know what? It's counseling, whatever it takes.
I mean, that's a good rule for everybody. Put that on the main whiteboard.
That should be in the handbook.
That's right. Okay, so this is one of the classrooms on the second floor. As you can see, it's currently being used as a counseling room. It would be really nice if we could put some classes in here.
This is a little tight for a classroom, no?
Smaller classroom, maybe a resource classroom.
What's a resource
So
classroom?
for special education,
Mhm.
one of the services we provide is students have a smaller classroom setting in which to work on their homework and to review concepts that they may not have gotten the first time in the general ed classroom.
How big of a population of student do you have taken
About
up?
15%.
Okay.
The district average is about 11.
Okay.
So we're a little higher. So, yeah. Any questions about this room or this floor?
The other rooms are actually a little oversized.
Yeah, so we can go to the other rooms. They're big. So if we had a movable wall here, it'd be great.
Oh, maybe they'll turn the light up.
Well, that's why when you look at the, yeah.
I don't know about downstairs, but there's a lot upstairs.
That's, but
Everything
that's
is hard.
the
Yeah,
real
right.
issue is coming up the stairs and how the sound transmits
Across the building?
across the building. And I think it really is flooring and.
This is the size of the other classrooms, right? It feels similar to the 400 wing.
So that's a good book holder.
I thought it was for gymnastics or something.
That's right.
Or parrot cage?
A very large parrot, like an eagle cage.
How about a panther perch?
Ooh, wow.
There you go. So,
Okay.
I know. It's a good reminder.
This is a,
the room. Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Look before you step out that door. That's my advice. Is the Winchester door.
Very good.
Oh,
Is it, oh, we do have a.
step in quarter in.
I thought
This is when I was in middle school. Attendance records, 1981.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say, or it's. So whoever asked, we do have one portable, I thought we did.
Aha.
I forgot what's in there though. What's in
Beyond
that?
the bell.
Okay.
Beyond the Bell. It's like the YMCA, but it's middle school Beyond the Bell.
After school program.
Is that open to anybody?
No.
Beyond the bell?
It's my invitation only.
Invitation by the school.
Yes.
Huh.
You can apply. You can be invited to apply.
How does the school, I'd think that the parents would know more about their income situation than the school would. How does the school know who to, I guess people apply for other, they apply for other
Yes,
stuff,
yes.
and you base it off that. Got it.
We don't ask them on the application, we just do our own background check.
Oh, there's like a little balcony, huh?
It's just
Oh.
letting you see.
Air conditioning unit.
They left the sink on in here too, maybe.
Built up standard, high definition shingles.
So the neighbors are pretty close, yeah? I can see in their, well, they have their shades drawn, but,
We were here first.
oh, you mean, so you can walk on many different ways?
Access points on and off campus.
Almost every single one of our school, I mean, that's how schools in California were designed. They're more community-based and share the parks and all of that kind of stuff. They're all designed stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So next is we're gonna go take a look at our field.
Yeah, we.
It's gonna be dark out there.
Yeah, before
Yeah.
it gets too dark, we'll take a look at the field. Let's go back up. So this goes all the way down there, and then there's stairs down. Why don't we explore a little bit of an extra walk, but. So I was saying to a few people that, we are 10 people, and 2 or 3 of us are talking, and it's already kind of loud. Imagine if we had, 100 kids up here, or 50 kids up here even. It would be a little bit of a nightmare.
But that's only between, when classes are switching, I guess?
Yes, but, let's say the kids are working on a project in class, and they're talking to each other. Like, you can
Oh.
hear it downstairs.
Oh, so it's not a hallway thing, it's
everything.
there
It's
too.
It's the floor.
You need some carpeted panels and whatever.
Well, but what he's saying is more like in between the floors.
Yeah, so if you're in that classroom and you have a full classroom of kids working and talking and collaborating with each other, downstairs.
You hear it all.
Quite loudly, yes. So, I mean, we could make it a silent week.
So we want to go down, we'll go downstairs.
It would be against what we're.
I wonder when the last time they tried this out was. When's the last time classes were held, full-size classes were held on the second floor?
I don't know. Arturo, since you've been here, have there ever been classes on the second floor? Never on the second floor. Not for at least 7 years. I don't think ever.
So no one around has any first-hand experience with what it actually sounds like. It's all just legend at this point.
Well, Karen Robinson, when she was here for 30 years,
Okay.
and she definitely had.
She heard it.
I didn't directly ask her, have you ever had 200
Have you heard
kids up
it?
here?
Yeah.
Have you heard it? But she was like,
Is she the old principal?
Built in,
No.
but then there was
Who's she?
Karen
Another-
was the former principal. She's
Principal.
She's the assistant superintendent now.
I just want to highlight to people, because I told them at the beginning, this is where the trailhead's going to go through.
Any thought to have it connect to the school so that people can get to school this way? Like, can walk that trail to school?
So,
Is that part of the goal?
time, it's not our objective, it is the city of Mountain View's objective to have the trail system be able to bring people
To school.
to school and work. So, yes.
It's a little bit of a security.
But we have,
A security
some of that
concern.
goals, but we have other concerns
Yeah.
that, not only security, but graffiti, our own students being,
Hiding over there doing that.
whatever, it just, and having the public come in, it just opens up a whole host of other issues.
Okay.
Parking, because people will come to the trailhead
So
and things
so
like
right now it's water down there. There's nowhere to walk here, correct?
People do sort of use it, but it's not.
But it's for water to go in.
Yeah.
It's a
Crittenden
channel.
Trail actually starts a block over,
Oh,
and
okay.
there's you walk down into it.
It's new, isn't it? Is that what they
Brand
just
new.
built?
Absolutely, it's
Yeah,
off
yeah.
of Old
Saw
Mill
that.
Field.
Okay.
Can you go under the freeway?
Yeah, I think you can walk
it
out through.
just
Yes,
opened.
absolutely.
Yeah, I heard about something like that.
It's a beautiful trail. If you like to bike or run or anything, it's really spectacular.
Is that the one that goes over the over 101?
No,
Which one? What do you call? What's the one called that goes over 101? The new one they built last year.
this one does go over 101. It
Does
goes
it?
under the
Middle field?
before, yeah.
It goes like
Forgot
under
what
the
street.
on-ramp, but over 101, something like that? I've never been on it.
Like under Old Middlefield, and then because that's
Yeah, I don't know
Middlefield.
the street.
Yeah, under Old Middlefield,
Yeah,
and then
yeah,
maybe
yes.
over the freeway. Okay.
I'm terrible. I don't know the street name.
I got to go walk that trail. I've never
It's-
done that.
It's
It's nice.
spectacular.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
It really is nice. I bike, so
It's only a few $1 million too, I think.
So,
I'll tell you
one of the
usage of it,
glaring-
I think it's worth it.
The glaring, I'll just say, like, inequalities between the two schools is the state of the field. Like, you go to Graham, you go and you see the field set up. They've got a nice fence. They've got a beautiful track. They've got the soccer field and football. Is it football
Football
size?
also,
Yeah.
yes.
So,
Mount Bernard's
and then
there.
we have just sort of a standard lawn with, a baseball diamond at the end. I would say that if I had to pick one thing that would really make an impact on our community, it would be to put in a proper sized track and field right over this particular field.
Does it fit?
It can,
Yes.
but we might have to modify.
Use some
some
basketball
of the
court
courts,
space.
And if we're building additional classroom space, etc., we've got to be conscious of how that works. The city is open to the discussion here because they were contemplating putting artificial turf, and they are open to the design of this area if we are willing to help contribute towards the cost. And the city maintains all of our fields because we're in a joint use agreement with them. So
Which is why they're open to the public after school hours? Is that related to that, or?
any public school would have to.
Even without the
but,
joint use?
Yeah, it's the issue is that they maintain them. They
Mm-hmm.
they come and mow the lawns. It's their staff that does all
What's the city get out of it?
the use of the fields. They get to do their parks and rec and everything on the. They consider this part of their parks.
Oh. So they get to count it as park.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the only thing.
Yeah.
I was gonna say the PE flow here doesn't look so good,
So, I mean, as an example of this need, our PE teachers, when they have the kids run the mile, instead of just measuring 4 laps, they have cones and they've like gone and like pulled the tape measure behind them to figure out 5,280 feet. They run in the parking lot. They play hockey in the parking lot. They make do. It's not like we can't do anything without this field, but it certainly is a high priority, especially for our PE teachers and our athletic
It
department.
looks like the outfield of AT&T Park.
That's
It's
what
a
we were going
huge-
for, actually.
It's
I'm
a
so glad you
huge
noticed.
priority for the district because it's very important to us to have equitable
Between the two
facilities
schools.
between the middle schools,
Right.
especially.
Right.
And the only other thing I want to highlight out there is that baseball diamond over there. The city, they put lights on them, they did that. It's very important to them to try and keep that. And one of the issues is that if we wanted to have a track and a field in between it, it might encroach on that fence. So that's a point of contention with the city. So it's just a highlight that because they have leagues that use these fields.
Would it be possible to? I know a few staff members probably hate saying this, but this parking lot is just not often fully utilized. Unlike big events and things, yes, but like, could we expand the field that direction?
So
There's trees in there.
we have
Yeah,
been
we just moved the
very
trees down.
protective of this parking lot because PG&E has 2 of their gas lines that have gone down here. They have an easement across part of our parking lot, and they wanted an easement for the entire thing because their goal is to eventually. They just moved one line, and they want to move the other line so it goes down Middlefield and comes through the parking lot. And we want to protect our ability to encroach on that parking lot, and PG&E is very adamant that you can't build anywhere near their pipes. So that is an issue. We would contemplate being able to move in there, but PG&E does have an easement for part of it. And the other issue is that the city trail, when they brought it to the city, I forgot the pedestrian committee, I might not be calling it right, but when they brought it there, that committee is recommending, although not our first preference, that the trail come in across our parking lot and come out on our sidewalk there, because the crosswalk for Middlefield is on this side of our parking lot. So there's a lot of debate,
parties.
a lot of debate around what should go on with that little space there. A lot of people have a vested interest in that. Something that nobody hardly ever uses or notices, but.
Kind of final two stops that I want to take you guys down, unless Therese or Jim or anybody else would like to see something, is through our sports center, our gym, and then to take a look at our locker rooms, which are pretty badly in need of renovation.
That is horrible architecture.
What type of architecture is it?
Shit. 70s.
Is it, oh, that's the 70s, yeah.
All the weird condos that sprang up when houses starting to get with money and people have money and no brains. You know what the worst thing about a boom is? People have a plan book and it's a drawing they've been looking at since they were in college. They're all thrilled, and then they find a lot, and that lot doesn't work with that one, but you can't tell them that. The bad architecture comes up when stuff's screaming like that.
I wish I had my jacket. So what's going on in here?
This is another like city pavilion thing, right? It's like a
This is
joint
a
deal.
sports pavilion.
Sports.
So it's very similar to Graham's sports pavilion. It's just it's smaller.
So basketball,
Basketball,
Volleyball.
volleyball.
City basketball league. So
Mountain View Pal has a full boxing ring in here.
for us to walk.
Oh my
Say it
God.
again?
Mountain View Pal has a full boxing ring in here.
Okay.
That's pretty nice, yeah?
It is very different now.
That's pretty nice.
It is.
We don't need to renovate that thing.
Well, I do want to sort of talk to everybody about some of the drawbacks. I think that we wouldn't need renovation. We wouldn't need some soundproofing here if our multi were bigger, because when we need to have a large assembly, we necessarily have it here. But all the sound goes straight up.
And people sit on the floor.
Yeah.
And people, well,
So, I assume,
they
yeah?
sat on the bleacher, they sat on the floor. It doesn't matter where you sit.
Yeah.
It's not a place it's not designed for that kind of use. And so, out of necessity, when we have big groups in here, the sound, it's very hard. You have to be like a classically trained opera singer to really make yourself be heard perfectly in here, because the sound just goes straight up and echoes all over the place. But
and that's not, our intent is not to use, like some places have this with their stage and stuff
Yeah.
like that in it, and it doesn't fit a multi-purpose
the side effect
space.
of not having a large multi-purpose room. We'll take a look at the locker rooms.
Oh, your whole school center.
Did you park back?
It's the only place we're able to fit that many kids.
So the entrance is
When you use the big sound system,
Sierra Vista is
or
like,
even if I move in the large speakers, horrible. That's an understatement.
It's made for rec activity. That's right. It's not made for
You can yell, score! That'll work just fine. Trying to get some information.
lined up here so kids come out on this side.
Yeah, when they exit the locker room, they line them up here for roll.
Okay. So
You guys find it kind of hard. There it is.
So this is our boys' locker room. According to reports, it hasn't been renovated or.
At least in the 7 years that I've been here.
Right. So this is one of the rooms that I get a lot of comments from or questions about from incoming parents. Is like, what can we do about these little lockers? Why are they so low? Can we renovate the locker room? Because it may seem spacious, but when our PE classes are actually larger than our regular classroom classes. So they can be up to 45 students. So if you have 45 boys in here, it gets a little tight. Just a little bit.
So you don't have a locker for each student, do you?
They share lockers. Yeah, we don't. Yeah, Graham has a full locker where we'll get out of the locker. But,
Are they have buckets they pull out?
Yes, they do. It's a little different because you have to really trust the person to pair it up with. Yeah, it makes for a lot of interesting discussions amongst the students.
Power and stuff over here. This whole building is run on it.
Spice it up.
We have a quarter inch that plays on top of these.
All right.
The decals on the wall like that.
So let's switch off from back to the office.
Yeah,
because I know
put them switched
a lot of people came in.
Yeah, sure.
There's a lot, like, there's a lot of they didn't do that pretty bad.
Boys, there's only 2 people watching, like 7.
It's usually his box.
This is the other building and the one over there. Same vintage.
Like, that was really short, that sideline did look like that, come through, when they walked in, no.
Actually, remember.
I'll make a note.
Brings back memories. This room.
But our law comes with
I
brand.
like it. Okay.
So they knew.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. They're more
But we
spacious.
don't have to maintain, we don't, at Graham, we do not maintain the sports center. That's the city of Mountain View's property, and they maintain the entire sports center.
It's their property. Unlike
Their
these fields,
property.
it's not the city's property, right?
It is not the city's property.
They maintain it.
At Graham, that is their building.
How about the
And,
track?
The track is our land, but they have, their water tank is underneath that, so they have a lot of rights on that property.
Okay.
It's different from here. I'm just highlighting this because we have another yard here. This is where we store a lot of our buses, and we have some other. I don't know if you can walk.
We can, if you guys want to. We can also cut through the school.
That's one thing in the facilities plan, right? Like do something with the yards or
Yes.
change it in some way?
Yeah, they're in need of modernization.
Okay.
All the yards at our warehouses are at their brink.
Okay.
Because we've grown and we haven't expanded our,
We're gonna go ahead and head back
maintenance back
to
in.
the front office. Thank you guys for coming. Is there anything on anybody's minds or any reflections that you want to share?
This is,
Being new here, I'm really seeing things not many more times, I guess, than you guys are. So thank you. Metaphorically speaking, I do get around. I don't just sit in my office.
so I do want to highlight, because I just asked Jim, this building is also not our building. The city,
Correct, but we do participate in the maintenance.
okay.
One
This
of
is-
the
this is
things,
a-
Therese and Jim, that I would love to see is actually fresh coats of paint. Anything that goes up, and all, even on the older buildings, because that's one of the first things that I noticed when I first came was that it seemed like we needed another coat sometime soon.
That we should be able to
Especially the
do.
trim.
That's pretty typical.
That we should be able to do without a bond. We should be able to do that even between bonds. We should be able to give
There-
paint coats of paint,
We
ideally.
we have district funds set aside to maintain our property. So yes, we do have that, and it goes through a cycle. But definitely as we enter a facility, we wanna make sure that we're taking care of.
There's a
lot of
preventative
the
maintenance
things.
program. All the doors
You
are
know, you don't
sprayed
wanna-
and
yeah,
the
you
pools
don't
were
wanna-
sprayed
there's
2 years
there's
ago.
kind of a
Oh, spray painted.
you want to have like an emotional
Repainted.
impact.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Campus, right? And the side entrance isn't all that impressive. The back entrance is okay. The front entrance is actually probably the best out of all.
Yeah.
It's fine. But I think, painted is a small step, but
These are a few years old, a little
consistently.
shade structures.
I wonder what leads to a cultural difference between schools where at Graham, there is no place where the kids eat. They eat wherever.
I don't mean paint over
That's
it.
a recent
no,
development
I
with
think
this
the buildings
principal.
themselves are a
Last
little
couple of
darker.
years has changed.
Oh, okay.
So, what,
Each
what I
principal
want
has
to
their own.
highlight, because I
Oh.
think Jeff is saying this, he's talking about the painting, but I think there is some desire to have, some, like, you said it better, I'm forgetting the word that you used.
An
but just-
emotional, positive emotional impact.
Yeah, and people really do like these paintings along here, and that's a kind of a unique feature. And we're not looking for something that's gonna be outdated in 5 or 10 years, but having some sort of cohesiveness throughout the school that sort of brings it up to today, I think is an important aspect of it. So I wanna just have us walk out, because it's getting too dark really.